For the first part of this exam, I have chosen to talk about the use of games in a classroom environment. I believe that almost any game, if used in the right context, can be educational. For the purpose of this video, I've selected a game called Shelter 2. Shelter 2 is made by an indie company of about 11 people called Might and Delight. In this game, the studio wanted to focus on the beauty of the wild as well as its unforgiving nature. In this game, you play the role of a mother lynx responsible for raising her 4 kits in the Canadian wild. In essence, this game is a realistic survival simulator. You move through different times of day, different seasons, and different geographical locations with your family. Your job is to hunt for your kits and protect them from harm. There are a number of different types of prey you can hunt, which can be easier or harder depending on what it is and where you are. Like real life, for a lynx, hunting rabbits is a lot more successful than hunting deer. There are also a number of dangers for your family, including wolves, forest fires, bears, and sometimes simply the unknown. Every decision you make has the potential for serious consequences. Bringing down a deer will fully feed all 4 of your kits, but you will likely fail several times before you are able to do so. If you burn up all of your energy, you may starve yourself before you are successful. Bringing down a rabbit is easier, but you have to do this constantly in order to keep your whole family healthy. Sometimes you have to weigh risk and reward. Do you feed yourself before your kits? This game has the potential to connect to the Manitoba curriculum in several different ways. Specifically, I have connected it to the grade 7 science and social studies curriculums, as well as to ELA. It also has artistic and musical components that could be discussed. The way I see this being embodied in a classroom is through a playthrough involving small groups. Since the game is relatively short, groups of 4 to 5 students could take turns playing and watching Shelter 2 on a device and completing it to various degrees of success. The pre-teaching for this game could consist of discussing food webs and ecological succession, the geographic climate where lynx live, or getting the students to predict the narrative, depending on where the curricular focus is. Groups of students would share their experiences with one another as they move through the game, as every playthrough will be different. One group of students may lose a kit to wolves and want to know how the other group survived. One group may caution another about how to avoid a bear, or what to do when it gets dark. This could be structured into a group project where students compare their experiences to one another or to the real life cycle of a lynx. Alternatively, as this game is quite emotionally engaging, students could write a short story from the point of view of one of the kits based on their game. This class could collectively formulate their own game guide for Shelter 2, which would coincide well with actual animal, seasonal, and geographic distributions. This game could be structured as a starting point for talking about ecological change and preservation, and construct understanding of the vast ranges lynx need to be successful. At the end of this game, once your remaining kits have matured and struck out on their own, you have the option of starting over as a mature kit. You can follow your own family tree and continue this cycle indefinitely. Overall, the game is a good representation of the cycle of life with a beautiful, emotive connection. Though there are some specific learning outcomes represented in this game that tie well to the Manitoba curriculum, the real outcomes for students would likely be tied to the relationships they form with their kits. In a game like this, anything less than full survival is painful, so the development of risk management and predictive skills would likely result even without educational scaffolding. At this point, I hope anyone who has had a chance to watch this has had their opinion broadened of what they would be considered an educational game. Thank you for watching.